When I wrote a throwaway line 6 years ago about my main character's love interest having a brother who'd gone missing while backpacking in Thailand, I had no idea I'd eventually write the story of what happened to that brother. Hi, I'm Sunay LaRue, author of the Mythical Menagerie series, and my latest novella, Hunter's Calling, tells that story, how a lost young man became one of the most badass myth hunters in my series, and a massive thorn in my protagonist's side. But let's rewind to that throwaway line. Why Thailand? Well, I honestly hadn't planned on writing a story set in Thailand at the time, but when I was fresh out of school, I visited Bangkok and Phuket with friends, and that trip has stayed with me ever since. We weren't backpacking back then, so my experience was very different from Ben's, the main character of Hunter's Calling, but I was just as wide-eyed and enamored by the sights and sounds and smells of this very foreign culture. Bangkok was a culture shock, for sure. The heat, and I'm from South Africa, so I'm no stranger to a warm climate, but that heat was something else. The humidity nearly bowled me over the moment I stepped out of the air-conditioned airport. You acclimatize eventually, but those first few days are rough. It did make for lovely blue sky days and tropical evening storms, which I'm a fan of, so I won't complain. And then there's the history and culture. Everywhere you look in Bangkok, there's another temple to explore and a strange smell to investigate. It's a riot of sensory overload, and a wide-eyed tourist such as myself couldn't get enough of it. But we did eventually leave the hustle and bustle of the capital city behind to spend a week relaxing in Phuket. And when I think of the island, my memories are mostly in shades of blue and green. Blue water, blue sky, green forests. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if Phuket was the party island back then that it is today. If it was, then I missed most of it. But it showed me another side of Thai life, a side that reveres nature and ancient traditions. And the local people I met were extremely friendly. And that's the version of Phuket that stayed in my head for years. Blue water, blue skies, green forests. Paradise, basically. Which naturally made me want to fill it with monsters. So how do you go from this idyll to a place where hidden monsters threaten bored backpackers? Well, you dive deeper into the mythology, of course. Thai mythology is filled to the brim with interesting half-human creatures, including Nguik, the very strange Thai mermaid I talked about in last week's video. If you missed that one, I'll link it below. And since Thailand has such a rich mythology to source from, a mermaid isn't the only dangerous creature Ben encounters. I won't spoil what happens in the book, but let's just say there are things lurking beneath those serene blue waters that will make you reconsider venturing too far off the beaten track. But this story isn't just about hunting monsters. Like many backpackers who go to Thailand, Ben is adrift, stuck in paradise while he tries to figure out what he wants to do with his life. He has a perfectly respectable life waiting for him back in London, but he's not entirely convinced that it's the life he wants. And there was just something about this juxtaposition, this postcard-perfect setting against Ben's state of mind, that I couldn't resist exploring. On the surface, he's a young guy having an adventure in paradise. Underneath, he's completely lost. And, as it turns out, getting involved with a bunch of mythical monsters is a pretty effective way of forcing someone to reconsider what they want to do with the rest of their life. Which brings me to Masuyo. In his quest to find an Nguik, Ben is joined by a Japanese huntress who teaches him the ropes. Masuyo has much more experience of the dangers the mythical world holds, and readers of the Mythical Menagerie series will recognize her from the last book, Mythbringer. Having Masuyo in the story also gave me the opportunity to include a cameo from a creature from Japanese mythology that long-time readers will hopefully enjoy. And that's one of the things I loved about finally writing Ben's story. When I wrote that throwaway line 6 years ago, I knew where Ben eventually ended up. Readers of the series know him as Stalker, a myth hunter who is very good at what he does and who has a habit of showing up at exactly the wrong moment for my protagonist, Ambrose. But I didn't know how Ben became Stalker. Hunter's Calling gave me the chance to find out. And it's out today. If monster hunting in Thailand sounds like your kind of thing, you can now actually read it. You don't need to have read the Mythical Menagerie series first, the story stands completely on its own, but if you have read the series, there are definitely a few Easter eggs in there for you. You can read Hunter's Calling for free in Kindle Unlimited, grab the ebook or paperback from Amazon, or get the paperback from your favorite online store. You can even ask your library to order it for you. And now I'm curious, is there somewhere you've traveled that you think would make the perfect setting for a Myth Hunter story? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Many of my stories are inspired by places I've traveled to in the past or places I still hope to cross off my bucket list. So if you'd like to travel vicariously with me, with a few mythical creatures thrown in along the way, like and subscribe so you won't miss any of my deep dives into the places, folklore, and creatures that inspire my books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.